Hey, Kate. Okay, yeah. Well, Tepe's here. So you got Tepe. Shit. Yeah. No, we don't just want to copy the committee. Uh, yeah, nobody, because that's
I
it.
keep telling you guys, you need to make me some kind of an alternate because I'm always here.
Yeah, seriously.
William's never sent me. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Sir just texted me. I mean, you're supposed to do the email call in.
Your audio isn't.
Okay. Well, good. They can hear me. Well, it looks like we don't have a quorum for those that are attending online. So we're just gonna go ahead with reports here in a minute.
We'll just do reports. Please turn your audio off. Feedback.
Oh, I did. I already did.
There we go.
Oh, this microphone is.
Jared, can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you now.
There you go. And my 8 o'clock Zoom just completed. I am with you and engaged.
We got Lewis here. So here. We'll need one.
That would be Surges.
Yeah, we're still short one. Is Kareem? Okay. For folks that are playing from home, we're one shy of a physical quorum. So despite the popularity of this committee at times, today we're a little lacking. So we're just going to go ahead and go through the agenda so we can get through our reports, and everybody that's present in person and online can ask questions of our department heads and elected officials. So we're not going to do a call to order, but we will say that we're getting started unofficially here at 9:04 a.m. on April 18th, 2024, Public Service Committee of Kane County. Does anybody here that wants to give a public comment or that plan to give a public comment? Just had Mr. Young. Dave, are you online?
I did. I signed up.
All right, well, now's your time.
Okay.
You've got 35 seconds. We're doing it different this time.
Okay.
Now go ahead, Dave. That's the board.
I just wanted to state that we had a proclamation that passed through the Public Service Committee last month, and this should have been placed on the full county board meeting in April, but due to politics, this was not put on the agenda. And I wonder what part of that proclamation is offensive. And I wonder who told someone to not put it on the April agenda, and why would they go against the will of the people? In that proclamation, I wonder if it was this statement: it is unlawful under federal law as well as Illinois state law for non-citizens to participate as voters. As non-citizens to participate as voters in federal elections, midterm elections, consolidated elections, primary elections, special elections, school board elections, and any other elections conducted within the jurisdiction of Kane County. I don't know why that statement would trigger such a reaction, because we're just simply stating by law that non-citizens do not have the right to vote. There was also a statement in that proclamation that says, quote, Illinois State Senator Selena Villanueva, representing District 12, has proposed legislation, Senate Bill 1345, which was filed in the Illinois State Senate and would permit non-citizens of the United States to register and vote in school board elections, a move that diverges from the long-standing requirement of the U.S. citizenship for voter eligibility, unquote. And I contacted her 4 times, 2 emails and 2 phone calls, and I've not gotten anything back. But in the end, that proclamation did pass this committee. and it should have been on the agenda for April, but the executive committee sets the agenda. And who sets the executive committee agenda? It's the chairman of the board, along with the vice chairman of the board. And they failed to put the proclamation on the agenda for April for the full county board that passed the Public Service Committee. And I just wanted to point out that the decisions of one or two people out of 25 can change the topics and agenda for Kane County. And those are very, very powerful positions. I'm wondering if the people show up and we have a quorum. I'm wondering if the ordinance on our agenda today, if passed, will be brought forth to the Kane County Board in May, because maybe one of those people won't like this ordinance. And I think that we need to think about changing how we do things around here. So that was all I wanted to say. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Young. So we have present the treasurer, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee and our guests. We submitted our report 7-8 days ago. I'd like to start. I've brought two people with me under the new feature of the people who serve us well. First of all, I'd like Carlos Mata to please stand up. Carlos is our senior accounting specialist. He's been here and with us working hard and well for more than 28 years. He celebrated 28 years on February 1st of this year. He's the person who makes sure that the bills get paid accurately. And everybody here knows how complicated that is and not an easy task. He is an East Aurora Tomcat, so Miss Lewis, we're all in good standing today. Lovely family, his wife and children. Carlos is a delight to work with for several reasons. Number one, he's a pro-improvement kind of person. Recently, he was the point person on the transition to Chase Bank from our predecessor. There were like 18 to 24 different bank accounts that needed to be coordinated and then transferred, and the reconciliations, making sure that everything went smoothly. Very, to me, complicated, almost infinite details, nearly infinite details. But what he did in that whole process, he captured for our constituents $650,000 of benefit. It's either in increased income or in saved accounting fees. It's going to be interesting. About a week from now, we have a finance committee meeting. And one of the lines in the chart that's been produced here for like 20 years takes a real blip up of performance. And what that basically is the Chase improvement of interest income. And so Carlos took care of that. The second example of a pro-improvement kind of person is when the chief judge, Clint Hull, and the head of court administration, Andrew O'Brien, came forward with an improvement on jurors' pay, the debit card. Carlos was one of the first people to jump on board, to lead the charge of, let's see how we can make this work for the benefit of everybody involved. So he's a young guy, but isn't it interesting that the adage, you can't teach old dogs new trick. He's not old, he's a young dog, middle-aged dog, but very pro-improvement. But what impresses me the most about what Carlos does here at the county is how protective he is of his fellow staff members. In the most intelligent, gentle way, he steps forward when he senses that there might be one of those potentially dangerous situations. People come into our office and they are not happy to be here paying over that much of their wealth each year. And Carlos has a knack, I'll hear it, from the office, and, he steps to the counter, he assists to make sure that everything stays calm and moderated. And what a gift that is to all of us. So thank you very much, Carlos. Now, Veronica, Veronica Mata, sister-in-law. You know, these are good genes in this family. So married in, Veronica married Carlos's brother, Lucky Johnny. And so, like Carlos, Veronica is bilingual. And you think about how indispensable that is in our office. You have to see when people come into the office and they don't speak, a person doesn't speak English. And if, a person like me who speaks only broken Spanish comes to it's a stalemate. We end up in a complex area. I mean, we don't have the benefit of Mark Armstrong to come in and explain to people all the nuances of why they're there.
I can't even speak Romanian, Chris.
Yeah. So, but it's like you end up staring at each other and you fumble through the papers and then you're trying to, but Veronica steps forward in, it's the nicest, firm manner of treating people. I'll hear that, hello, how may I help you? From Veronica coming to greet somebody coming in to pay the property taxes. If you're too nice, unfortunately, many times you just get run over. If you're too firm, you end up being perceived as mean and anti-like constituent. So it really is the balance that Veronica brings to her work that is such a special thing. So I think that it's the Goldilocks demeanor of constituent service that Veronica specializes. And then finally, Veronica's got to be the best cook in the building. I come from, East Aurora, Moldavans Catering, first job peeling potatoes and all. And the cartoon where the little dog kind of goes airborne when there's this, the aroma of the smell and it kind of follows it. That's how I am at lunchtime when Veronica's fixing up, in the microwave what she brings. So we have so many good people of the 1,400 people who work here. And we're very fortunate that we have two of them with us today from the treasurer's office. So Veronica, thank you. Next, just
Excuse me. Can I
Ms.
ask a
Lewis.
question?
Yeah, sure.
So, not to put you two on the spot, but what has kept you in the county for this many years?
Oh, sir, if you could use the microphone and then everybody else can hear you.
I didn't mean to embarrass you, but I always
You're
like to hear
fine.
why.
No, it's been a blessing, honestly, with past treasurers and that have come and gone. I must say thank you for the praises, but I'm not one to take on what those praises. I come to do what is asked between the hours of 8:30 to 4:30. But no other treasurer has actually complimented me on my job or my task. So I thank you for that acknowledgement. But what I've seen and what I observed in my 28 years, I try to take one hat off, put on my collector hat if I'm going to assist with customers coming in through our office. We do understand they are asking for help. They might ask the wrong question, but it's important to listen first, get the whole story before actually answering or passing on the buck to someone else. Again, what I've observed and what I've learned over the years, I'm thankful for the staff that we've had in the past, and that's what's still keeping me here. Family, kids are in college right now, so I still got quite a few more years before all that's said and done. But thank you for that question, and I'm still happy to be here in 28 years and maybe 10 more to go, I believe would be nice. Retirement, IMRF. So
There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
If I could request a sample of Veronica's home cooking at some point, that would be great.
so
Kenyon's with me on that one.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
what about me?
Well, you too.
Okay, I came to.
Got to bring some for everybody, right?
just two more quick items, and thank you very much for the indulgence of the time. We're sending out to all of our tax bodies the distribution schedule letter. So, we collect the taxes and then we distribute them back out to the different taxing bodies. And the Treasury team this past year, 2 years ago, we sent out $200,000 of interest that was earned on the funds while we had possession of them. This past year, you produced a result of $2.2 million, so 10 times, 11 times what the previous year. Now, when I went through the actual letter that we're including in the distribution note, and I did the calculation, I don't want to say 10 times if it's, less than that. And it was 7 times. So someplace in it, some folks got a bigger, but it's like a huge aggregate difference. And that message is going out. And so if your constituents contact any of the board members or any of our, staff member, that's what, that one page in that letter was about. Then finally, I would just like to tell you what a riot it is to go to tax group meetings. You gotta be kidding that, I don't think that I have ever gone to such an entertaining tax meeting in 50 years of doing people's taxes as I experienced yesterday in the meeting that Mark Armstrong ran. I mean, I started to keep notes of the references, the comic references where, to St. Paul's letter to the Corinthian about the better way, when he's talking about improvements of things, a reference to The Office. There was something that just at a distance. I mean, it is enthusiastic entertainment to listen. And, it's not news to this group, but it's kind of dry subject sometimes. But I tell you, not when Mark Armstrong is running the meeting. So I appreciate it, Mark. That's all I've got.
Any questions for the treasurer? All right, thank you, Mr. Laza. Next up, Supervisor of Assessments, Mr. Armstrong.
Thank you, members of the committee. My report begins on page 42 of your packet. And I'm afraid it's way too early in the morning for me to have quips. Yes, I did quote both St. Paul and Michael Scott yesterday, but at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's not my A game. We have to hold these at 2 if you want to hear that. So the first part of my report I teased a month ago, state equalization. We received a 1 equalization factor from the state of Illinois. We've got a 1 every year since 1988. It's going to be super important. I'm going to explain a little more why later, but essentially it's the grade. It's the grade in the macro sense of what we have done with our assessments. Now, that should never be taken to mean that every assessment is absolutely correct. That's not what this does. This is a macro analysis of where we are comparing our assessments to sales prices. What it says is on a large scale level, we are correct. There's always, in such a large sample size of almost 200,000 parcels, there's always room for a little bit of variance, things that can be corrected. But even at that point, I would note that our assessment complaint rate with the Board of Review is one of the lowest in the Collier counties, less than 1%. Our neighbors to the east in Cook County, over 30%. That gives you an idea of the confidence that the public has in the assessment process. With that, I'd like to move into the bottom of the page 42, the 2024 projected equalization factors. So this process that ends up with the state giving us a 1 factor, it begins now. And my office every year calculates on a township by township basis a projected equalization factor. You can see those factors listed on the top of page 43 of your packet. There's some bullet points below that talk about the procedure. Unless you'd really, really like me to go into those bullet points, I'm going to let you take those as read. But essentially, we're comparing sales in those jurisdictions to the assessments in those jurisdictions. And what we find is if they are below a ratio of 33.33%, they need to be increased. If they are above, they need to be decreased. So what this shows is on a township by township basis, what the actual projected factor, if no other changes are made in this year. But of course, there will be changes that are made. And when you see in those blank columns, certified to supervisor of assessments, that would be a date that'll be filled in. And as usual, I'll apprise you of that monthly of which townships have turned in their books. After changes, we calculate it again and determine a final equalization factor, and then a final filing deadline where taxpayers can file assessment complaints with the Board of Review. If you'd like to look at some of the individual data where we break that down, that starts on page 4, at the top of page 44, where we're looking at the 3-year level of assessments and the projected equalization factor. Now, I said before, why is that important? And it's fortuitous that Carlos is here today to join this, is because if we do it correctly, the state of Illinois will reimburse you, the Kane County Board, for 50% of my compensation. So whatever you pay me, they're going to reimburse half, but only if I do my job correctly. And not every county does it correctly. The department actually has a chart showing reimbursements where counties don't get reimbursed because they have not, for one reason or other, done it correctly. Now, there's 2 ways you can do it incorrectly. One is to skip the process that's in that chart at the top of page 44 and just say, you know what, people are yelling about assessments. Instead, I'm going to do what I want to do and lower it. And if that happens, 2 things are going to happen. One is the state's not going to reimburse it and the county is going to be out some money. The second is that at the end of the process, the state's going to issue an equalization factor to bring them back up anyway. But they're going to raise everyone across the board. So if, say, one township assessor is, let's use the word goes rogue and says, I'm going to lower my assessments way, way, way farther below where they should be, and I don't correct that, every assessment in the county gets raised to make sure to account for that. Now, the second part of doing it correctly is something as simple as filing administrative paperwork. And that's what Carlos does. And so every month he files the proper paperwork. He sends it for me to review for my signature. He then sends it to the treasurer for the treasurer's signature. It sends it to the Department of Revenue, where they authorize disbursement of funds. And you would think that would be something that every county could do correctly, but you would be mistaken if you thought that, because it doesn't always happen correctly. A lot of things go on in the background that go on very, very smoothly. And what I've noticed in my 60 years is that when things go smoothly, people assume it's easy or it doesn't happen. What really happens is when things go smoothly, it means a lot of hard work is taking place in the background that no one notices. And that's okay. If you notice what's going on in my office, that's probably not a good sign. So we're happy to work in the background. We're happy to work with our partners in the clerks and the treasurer's office that work in the background, which is why we have the tax group meeting every quarter to coordinate the process of the tax cycle. But we're happy that everything in Kane County runs smoothly. And we're happy that compared to other counties, we have a very high level of public confidence in the system. Last, I have my normal monthly production report. That chart is on the top of page 45. I'd be happy to answer any questions from members of the committee.
Any questions for the supervisor of assessment? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Next up, Regional Office of Education, Ms. Del Santo.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to remind all of you, and I'm borrowing my neighbor's invitation so that it will jog your memories. Hopefully you all got one of these, to Educator of the Year, which is coming up on May 3rd. If you've RSVP'd, you will be getting a parking pass, which will allow you to park closer to the building and not get on a school bus. But if you like school bus rides, by all means, go that way. When you get there that evening, there will be charts that will list your tables. Some of you will sit at those tables, others you may want to change your tables. And if you do, just let me know if you want to sit with your school district or there's another group you'd like to sit with. This is our highest number year ever. We have, our previous high was 45 nominations. This year we have 57 nominations. Every school district is represented with at least one nominee. So it's very exciting for all of us in the office, and the quality of nominees is outstanding. I've been particularly struck by the quality of the nominees in the early career educator categories. Those are teachers who just started up until 5 years. And we have a number of nominees in that category, and they are phenomenal. So I would encourage you, if you haven't, please RSVP. If you have, I will see you that night. Thanks.
Any questions for the Regional Office of Education?
I have a
Ms.
question.
Lewis?
So, Pat, could you just briefly explain to us this process? Because I know there's that whole big book and there's references and there's interviews and it's a big deal.
It's a
So
huge
if you could
deal.
just kind of go through just how
Sure.
it happens. It's not like you get nominated and it's an easy path. It's not.
No, it isn't. And all of the districts have individual policies on how they handle it. Some of them have district-wide committees, some of them have building level committees. And there is a matrix and it's all on our website. If you ever wanted to go on, you could see all of the particulars. There's a matrix of everything that needs to be included in that book. There's also a video of what we look for so that committees can all start at the same baseline, so they all know what they're looking for. And then they choose someone in their building or their district that they feel is worthy of being nominated for this honor. We look at as they represent all of the teachers and all of the educators in Kane County. So while we have to choose one for each category, that person is representative of all of the good things that happen in education in Kane County. So then they submit to our office. We have a deadline that they all have to be submitted to. Right now, one of our conference rooms is full of books and that's about it. Then this year we had 11 different judges. We have judges that are retired educators. We have student teachers who come in and judge. We have representatives from the business community, and they come in over 2 days. They go through all of those books and they fill out a scoring sheet. And then we take those scoring sheets and we tabulate them all and we keep them under lock and key, the results until that night. And that's our process.
It's quite a thing. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I can't attend this year. I had some that was already scheduled I can't get out of, but I know it's going to be a great event. So I do encourage my colleagues to sign up if you can.
Thank you.
Anything else for Ms. Del Santo? Okay, thank you. Veterans Assistance Commission. I know Mr. Zimmerman said he wasn't going to be able to be here today, but we do have, I'm sorry, if you could let us know your name.
My name is Nate Johnson. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for the Kane County Veterans Assistance Commission.
Welcome, Nate.
All right, so I'm just going to start off really quick by going over the average days pending for claims. Right now, the state of Illinois is at 164.2 days pending. The Kane County Veterans Assistance Commission is sitting at 148.2 days pending. For average pensions, the state of Illinois is at 130 days. The VAC is at 79.7. State of Illinois currently has 23,961 claims pending. 419 of those are within Kane County or have been filed by the Kane County Veterans Assistance Commission. We look at the month of February. We had 64 compensation claims filed, 1 pension claim, 4 dependents compensation claims, 2 survivor pension, 5 healthcare, and 5 appeals. Total forms completed in the month of February is 302. We had a total of 2 applications for riding cane with no expenditures in financial assistance this month. New VA payments, 2 claimants in the month of February. And this is a pretty impressive statistic, is that we had over $1 million in the month of February brought in to Kane County residents through the disability compensation process. Couple things I want to brief on is what I just went over was a lot of quantifiable statistics. And we love to see quantifiable statistics because that means dollars. But what also we do accomplish within our office is qualitative stuff. So on April 22nd, 2024 at 3 p.m., we're having a Veterans Court graduation at the courthouse. If you want to see something impressive, I would encourage everyone here to attend that ceremony. It can be life-changing for a lot of people, and I encourage everyone to make it if you can. On April 26th, there's a senior health and wellness fair. That is at Elgin Community College, 1700 Spartan Drive in Elgin, Building E. That goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be health screenings as well as resources for senior citizens as well as senior veterans. Last but not least, this is another qualitative thing that we like to talk about. The American Legion Post 679 and True Patriot Care are going to present The Wall That Heals, a Vietnam Veterans Memorial Replica and Mobile Education Center. That is going to be May 24th through the 27th at Randall Oaks Park, West Dundee, Illinois. If you want to see some truly life-changing experiences and stuff, and know that we are still taking care of the Vietnam veterans who were not welcome home very appropriately, come check that wall out, and it will be another thing that it really shows you the kind of work that we're doing in our office. That ends my report. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, Surges.
Surges and then Mr. Kenyon.
Comment. I understand this is the only place in Illinois the wall will be.
Yes, this is the only place in Illinois this year.
That Memorial Weekend. Just think how huge that is because they did such a great job last time.
The only one in Illinois this year.
In Kane County.
It's in my backyard.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of complaints, but it's a good place to live.
Surges, go ahead.
For those of you that ride, I have signed up for the motorcycle group that will be leaving out of Woodstock Harley Davidson and escorting the wall through to the Dundees. And more the merrier. We would love to have you join. So
I didn't know you rode a bike, Cliff.
as long as I don't have to pedal, I'm actually pretty good. So
What was the date of the graduation again?
Yes, April 22nd. It is next Monday.
Okay.
Let me make sure.
Where's that? What, the courthouse or?
The Kane County Veterans Treatment Court graduation ceremony is Monday, April 22nd, 2024 at 3 p.m. in courtroom 201. We actually, this is kind of a first time occurrence. We actually have 2 graduates going through this time. And it's going to be, again, it's going to be a pretty historic event. Just because if you don't know a whole ton about the Veterans Court, it is a 2-year probation program that veterans go through that get caught in the criminal justice system. By completing this rigorous treatment program, they're able to get their charges dropped completely at the end of it. So it gives them another chance to be successful. So I, again, encourage everyone to make it if they can, and hope to see you there.
Ms. Juby?
Is that 3rd Street or is that 38? The courthouse
201.
It's a 38.
38.
on 38? Okay,
38.
thanks.
You were
Judicial
at the last
Center.
one, right?
Okay.
Were you at the last one?
Yeah, I was at the last one.
Same
and
place, but
you said
upstairs.
Courthouse and I was like, oh,
Same
different.
place, but upstairs one level.
Upstairs. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anything else for Veterans Assistance Commission? All right. Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Johnson.
thanks.
County Clerk, Mr. Pollack.
Good morning, everyone. The wall was an experience. I came to Aurora some years ago. My dad was a Vietnam vet, so it was an experience. So definitely recommend it if you can go. Few things. You have our report. Nothing out of the ordinary there. The March primary, the canvas has been certified. Those results are up on the website. We've talked, well, the other elected officials have talked about taxes. Our office extended taxes, so did our part in the dance, and so those bills will be ready to go out when the treasurer's office sends them out. One thing coming up for those of you that are elected officials or appointed, the statement of economic interests. You should have received your notification a few weeks ago. You have to complete that online before May 1st. I believe that's when state law imposes all those fines that we don't want. So it's a simple process. You answer your 7 questions, you do it online, send it back, you'll be done in a few minutes. So, and if you don't remember what you put in last year, you can review your statement from last year. It's online as well. We had a resolution, but with no quorum, I guess we'll save it for, resolution, we'll save it for next
We
month.
can't take action on it today. Mr. Teppi,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This ordinance, is there something that
use
is
your microphone, please.
Thought it was. This ordinance that you've got, is there something about it that's very timely to where we should ask the executive committee to do this?
It's a housekeeping thing to catch up to the state law that changed. So it's up to you. I mean, it can wait probably till next month if necessary, but if the board deems it necessary to do it, I mean, I can give
Thank
you.
you.
Anything else for the clerk's office? Okay, thank you very much. We have no other business that I'm aware of. No need for executive session. I need a motion of some type to place the reports on file. Oh, wait, we can't do that. I'm sorry. Habit. And I don't even need a motion to adjourn, but Kenyon, do you want to just do an honorary,
I'd move we adjourn, get
Yeah.
on the streets.
we all second and we all are in favor?
County.